Listen, this might be the realest one you ever get. Um, I was preparing notes to talk more about the narcissistic mom and signs that you know that you had a narcissistic mom. And then happily the hopeful message that you can recover from it. And I was reading through my notes. I got them here in my lap, and um, I started to. I just got sad reading through the signs of having had a narcissistic mom or still having a narcissistic mom. You know, you struggle with self-doubt, feel responsible for other people's emotions, have difficulty setting boundaries, have an intense need for approval, and struggle with this sense of identity. And as I read the list, I felt this sadness coming on me. And I just realized just how much this has been my experience. And I talked last week about how difficult it is for us to acknowledge the experience that we had with our moms. And reading through this list just kind of solidified for me that this really was my experience. And I'm here to share hope. I'm here to share you can get through. And I just kind of hit a wall because I felt all of these things intensely. And I felt counterfeit, I'll say it, because I could so truly feel though each of those items, the self-doubt, feeling responsible for other people's emotions, having difficulty setting boundaries, needing approval, needing affirmation, and then not really knowing who I was, struggling with my own identity because I never had that opportunity to develop my identity because it was always so closely baked into um, my mom's need for who she needed me to be for her identity. And I paused and kind of wanted to stop talking to you and realize that this really is part of the process. And I want to include you in the process to affirm that each of those things that we struggle with and we have struggled with in our lives, there is absolutely recovery from it. When you have self-doubt, you counter the self-doubt by learning to trust your own reality. And if you pay attention to that idea, you know, and I know, as a child of a narcissistic mom, you pay more attention to what's going on around you than everybody else. Because if you think about it, leading into the second point of feeling responsible for everybody else's emotions, how can you be responsible for their emotions if you're not paying attention to knowing what's going on, number one? And number two, if you're not crafting things around them to make life easier, make things feel better for them. Having no boundaries, you know, you start to develop them. You start to pay attention to yourself and realize the things that people are asking of you, the things that people are imposing of you. This is not what you want. It doesn't feel good to you. And no, without any explanation and maybe a little smile, no. That's the greatest first boundary that you can set. And it feels scary, but it's powerful. And you'll feel the wrath of people because they're used to you being and doing what they need. But it's time for you to choose what you need. Along with setting those boundaries comes, sort of a guilt. Like, I can do this. I can do it. Yeah, but do you want to? Is it taking something away from you? Is it interfering with your plan and your process to go off course and do something for somebody else that is not part of your direction in your course right now? That's okay. And you don't have to feel guilty about it. Guilt is, it really is, it's an enemy actually. And we know that it gets used by people constantly to manipulate out of us the things that they want. But nobody knows better than you in your heart what's needful. And you really do know when people are pushing you too hard. And it's perfectly fine to say no and feel no guilt about it. And in setting the boundaries and acknowledging what's needful for you, you begin to develop your own sense of self. When you're in a place, when you're in a home where you're trying to make life good for someone else to serve their needs, you don't even consider your own needs, but they're there. You know they're there. I knew they were there, and I didn't know they were there. And I had to be still and really think, what is my preference? What feels good for me? What do I need? And it feels so selfish, but it's not selfish. It's self-care, and it is self-aware. And you are a full self because you're still here and you're breathing, and your full self is not here to serve everybody around you and not serve yourself. There's a scripture that says, love your neighbor as yourself. That's what Jesus told us to do, right? How can you, but he says as yourself. So that means you got to understand how to recognize you and know you and love you first. As you do that, you'll start to attract people that see you the way you see you and love you that way. And you'll start to repel the clingers and the those that seek to draw off of you and take from you. This is not, this one here is unplanned but necessary because this is part of the process. And I wanted to be honest with you and upfront with you. And honestly with myself. This is kind of me for real, calling out experiences of my life that I swept under the rug or couldn't confess, didn't want to confess, felt like I was being disloyal or dishonoring of people to call out things that were not healthy and useful for me in my life. But once you see it, we said it last week, Once you see it, once you acknowledge it, that's the beginning of the freedom. And freedom really, really does exist. And I'm not, um, I'm not, I laugh. Folks used to say selling wolf tickets, and I'm not lying to you. It's been my life. It is my life. And there is liberty, and there is joy, and there is self-knowledge, self-awareness, there is growth and development, there is dream fulfillment on the other side of acknowledging and taking your own life back. So I did it. I have times that I'm still doing it, and you can do it, and let's keep doing it together. Okay. Hey, Anya's mom. I see you. I love you. And you're